What's up guys, what I'm doing another little video this evening. So this week has been not the easiest of weeks. Unfortunately on Wednesday, we unfortunately lost another one of our guinea pigs. We had three, and one of them unfortunately died on Wednesday unexplainably. It's a weird one. That's the third guinea pig we've lost, and we don't know why. Like, we had Jeff and Rory. Rory died for unknown reasons, but again we don't know why he died. Then we had we got Teddy and Joey, and it was the night after the Euros final, or the day after the Euros final. I went to the Hage in the morning, on the Monday morning. And Joey was dead in the Hage, and when I felt him, he was rock hard, so he'd obviously been dead for a few hours by that point. And then Teddy died a couple of hours after. And then we had Jake and Max, and then Jake died for some unknown reason on Wednesday. Now, it's hard because obviously we didn't know that anything, like with Jake, we didn't know that anything was wrong. Like, the problem with guinea pigs is, and I know this by doing research, they are very good at masking that anything's wrong. They don't always show signs that anything is wrong. They are very good at hiding that. And obviously, but as far as we were both aware, Jake had been absolutely fine during the day. There hadn't been any sort of really obvious signs that something was wrong. Like, he hadn't stopped eating or drinking or anything. He wasn't, lethargic or anything like that. He seemed absolutely fine. He seemed full of health on Tuesday. Which is why, like, the weirdest thing about it is, he seemed full of life on Tuesday, and in the days prior to him, what happened on Wednesday, he seemed absolutely fine. There didn't seem to be any warning signs that anything was wrong. And then obviously on Wednesday, my mum went in the morning, when my mum got up, she went to the Hage to feed them, and Jake was still alive, like he was barely alive. And she got him out of the Hage, and she wrapped him in a towel, and he basically died on her lap. Obviously it's like it's sad, because it's just like, it's hard, because it feels like, because we don't know why he died. This is the thing. We don't have any idea, any clues as to why he died. It's like, did we miss something? It's like, it feels like it's that question of like, was there a sign that we missed? Was there actually something wrong, but we hadn't noticed that? It's like, was there an obvious sign that we hadn't noticed? Obviously, as I said, from doing research, guinea pigs are very good at hiding stuff, and they're very good at masking that anything's wrong. So, it's a tough one, because, it's another guinea pig that's, it's the third guinea pig that's died. And we don't really understand why it's happened. We don't understand what caused it to happen. We don't understand why it's happened. This is the third, obviously we had Teddy and Joey. Joey died suddenly, without warning. And then Teddy died a few hours after he did. Well, yeah, he died. Joey had obviously died at some point during the night. And then Teddy died in the morning, on the Monday morning. So there was obviously, I don't know if there was something wrong, because it was a bit weird how Joey died during the night, and then Teddy died in the morning. There was obviously, maybe there was something wrong, I don't know. But then I'm thinking, well, if there was anything wrong, I was like, wouldn't Jeff have become unwell as well? But Jeff's been fine. But it's hard to lose to lose yet another guinea pig, and we don't know why it's happened. This is the thing, like, we have no answers for why it's happened or why it might have happened. You know, I think, it would be easier if we knew why it had happened or why it kept happening. Because it just seems weird how they keep dying so suddenly, like there's no warning. You know, there doesn't seem to be any explanation for what is causing this to happen. You know, it's like, as I said, it's that question of, are we missing something? You know, was there a warning sign that we didn't notice? You know, as I said, as far as we were aware, he was fine. Jake was fine on Tuesday morning. It's weird how a guinea pig can go from being full of life and full of energy one day to basically being dead the next. It just doesn't make any sense. And we don't know as I said, we don't know what's caused it to happen. It's like, had we known that anything was wrong, we would have tried to get him to a vet, but we didn't know that anything was wrong. We had no reason to believe that anything was wrong, and this is the problem, this is the hardest thing about it, it's like, they've died when, the guinea pigs have died when there didn't seem to be anything wrong, like, there wasn't any warning signs, there was no obvious signs that anything was wrong. And it's like, well, what the heck is going on? Why have we lost yet another guinea pig so suddenly? It just doesn't really make any sense, and it's just really, hard to kind of, it's hard to lose another guinea pig, and it's like, you don't know why it's happened. This is the thing, we don't know why it's happened. As far as we're aware of, there doesn't seem to be any reason for it to be happening, but I think it would be good if we did know why it was happening or what was going on or what the reason was for it happening, but we just don't know why it's happened. It's kind of unfortunate in a way that this has happened yet again. This is like the fourth guinea pig that we've lost, and we don't have a clue why it's happened. It was the same with Rory, we didn't know the thing is, although with Rory, when he died, we knew, the one thing that we noticed with him was that he was drinking a hell of a lot of water. We used to fill the water bottles up, and he used to drink a hell of a lot of water. And we thought maybe that was a telltale sign that something was wrong. The way that he was drinking so much water, we were, it kind of became a cause for concern. We were that kind of bit concerned that something was wrong, but we weren't able to get him to a vet to see if there was anything wrong. And I noticed that I think it was with Teddy as well. I noticed that he was drinking a lot of water, but I didn't think much of it. And Jake as well. Jake, the only thing I've really noticed with Jake was how he always, he was always drinking a lot of water as well. When I used to fill the water bottles up, he was always the first one to the water bottle. But I didn't think, again, that, was that a warning sign? I don't know. But it's just weird how we've had four guinea pigs die, and we don't know why. This is the thing, we don't know why they died. We have no answers for that question. There doesn't seem to be any answers to that question. Why do our guinea pigs keep dying so suddenly when they were so full of health in the days prior? That's what doesn't make any sense. It's the fact that Jake was so, seemed full of, seemed in good health, the day before. There wasn't any obvious signs that he was ill. Which is why it's made no sense that he's died so suddenly, because there were no warning signs that he was ill. We hadn't noticed that anything was wrong. There weren't really any obvious signs that had obviously caught our attention. There wasn't really anything that, that gave us there wasn't really anything that gave us a reason to be concerned. There didn't seem to be anything wrong. But, that's the thing, as I said, that is the thing with guinea pigs. Guinea pigs are very, very good at masking that anything is wrong. They're very good at hiding that something's wrong. They don't always show those signs until it's too late for for people to actually do anything. And, unfortunately, if we'd have known that anything was wrong, we would have tried to get them to the vet as soon as we could. But it's like, how can we take them to the vet when we don't know that anything's wrong? Like, that's the hardest thing about it, is like, we couldn't get them to the vet as we didn't know anything was wrong. And that's the thing with Jake. Like, we didn't know anything was wrong, so, as far as we were aware, there was no reason to take him to the vet, because he was in good health. But maybe there was something there that we didn't see, that we weren't noticing, or maybe there was something there that we weren't, maybe there was this is why I'm thinking it's like, was there a sign there that we missed? Was there a sign there that we weren't, paying attention to? Was there something there that we didn't, that we weren't, that we should have noticed, that we weren't noticing? Yeah, that's the big question, is like, was there something there that we didn't notice that perhaps we should have noticed? Was there something wrong and we just didn't notice that? Was there any, so as I said, there wasn't any visual signs. As far as our eyes could see, as far as what we could tell, by looking at him, there didn't seem to be anything wrong. All three of them seemed absolutely fine. Max and Jeff are still, are still doing well, they're still fine, they're still okay. But it's yet another theory, obviously, but Jake, it doesn't make sense. Like, how can a guinea pig go from being full of energy and full of life one day to then being dead the next? Like, I'm struggling to make sense of it as it is, because I don't know why it's, I think the reason I'm struggling to make sense of it is because I don't know why it's happened. There's no answers for why it happened. We don't know why he died. We don't know what caused him to die. Because as I said, but there weren't any obvious signs there that something was wrong. So we didn't know to do anything. We didn't know to take him to the vet. We didn't know to do anything, because there was no warning signs there. There was no obvious signs that anything was wrong, but maybe there was, a less obvious sign that we hadn't noticed. Maybe him, the fact that he was drinking so much water was, a telltale sign, but I just didn't think much of it. It's just really, like, a real mystery as to why this has happened and what's caused it to happen. I feel like I would be more relaxed and more okay about it if I knew why it had happened, if I knew what caused it to happen. I feel like if I had those answers, I wouldn't be so, I wouldn't be so sad about it. But it's hard to, I'm sad because I don't know why it happened. I don't know what caused it to happen. And I would just love to know why it's happened. Why that's happened. Why guinea pig has died so suddenly when it seemed to be in such good health. That's the thing, it doesn't make sense that Jake has died so suddenly when he seemed to be in such good health. None of this makes any sense to me anyway. None of this makes any sense how a guinea pig can be in such seemingly in such good health and then be dead the next day. Like, how does that make any sense? I really don't know what to say, because none of it's not, to me, none of it is making any sense. None of it really, I don't know what to think. Like, I keep thinking, did we miss something? Was there something there that we hadn't noticed that we should have noticed? It's like, I feel somewhat guilty, because I feel like there was something there that we should have noticed. Well, I should have noticed. But there didn't seem to be anything wrong, so there didn't seem to be any reason to be concerned. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed another video this evening. I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.